Hello, friends and true believers. Welcome to Live from Machete Comics. I'm Chris, and that's Brent. Say hi to Brent, everyone. Hello. What's going on, man?
Mexico City, hanging out.
You're in Mexico. Cool. I'm still in Kingston.
Mexico City, it's warmish, and then it gets
Nice.
coldish.
Where's
I'm
your
on top of
tequila?
a-
Get the tequila and the tacos out, man. That's what I'd be
Yeah,
doing.
I had a bunch of tacos today. It was very exciting. And
Dos cervezas, por favor.
there was many cervezas around, not for me, but I had a
I
few.
like
I
them.
watched people drink them. They do, but then they had. I had tons of tacos. I'm on top of a volcano, so it's exciting to see if there's going to be any excitement there. It's been thunderstorms right on top of us every night. It's very exciting.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm
Mm.
working over here away at getting comics done. We almost have issue number 4 of Cult of Machete done, so I got to pimp this a bit. Here's our issue 1, 2, 3. They're still available here. This is the newest one. Wait, where's the newest one? This is the newest one right here. Here we go. Whoop. Cult of Machete number 4. And this one has the continuing World War II story, Stay Hungry, by Jazzy Jongieri. And he's our friend, Brent. He's a superstar security
for
of the
so many
superstars,
bands.
right?
Yeah. He's out doing a bunch of stuff for a bunch
Just
of bands.
dropped a book on poetry.
Yep.
So
He's
he's a
busy guy.
beatnik
The guy's
poet.
doing
Is a beatnik and a poet the same thing, or is a beatnik poet something different?
Ooh.
Like, is that a beatnik poet? Is that a thing? He's just or beatnik, or is that a
I'm not
different
sure
term?
he'd want to be called that.
I don't know what a beatnik is. What's that?
I think it's. I mean, I can Google that shit while you're promoting some stuff.
Okay, yeah. So John also has his ghost show coming that's out right now with the barbecue and the beer and the booze,
Yep.
the ghost, which is really super entertaining too. But he just dropped a poetry book, and he is the author of and creator of the Stay Hungry story in here that I illustrate. And then we also have Eric Bishop, who is famous for the Body Man series of books, and he does a story in here called Bottled Secrets, which is another very entertaining story. And of course, I do the artwork for it. There's some of it right there. This book's available. You can get this. If you're in Kingston, all of our books are available at Nexus Comics. That's downtown. And these are all available on our website as well. If you're in Canada, you can get all 3 books delivered to your home for approximately $38. All right. So that's like $10 a book, which we charge, and $8 shipping, which isn't too bad as well. The 3 of them to the States, I believe, is just $10 more, right? But your dollar's stronger than ours right now as well. But we ship all over the world, and you can pick them up here in Kingston at Kingston Nexus, which is a rad spot. We have a new writer who is local. Our 2 writers are from the USA there. I can't remember exactly where they're from because John's always all over the place. And then we have another artist from out there as well who does pinups from Texas, I believe. And blanking all that information. But anyway, we have a Canadian now along with us from right here in Kingston. Casey Boyce we just brought her on. She's just joined the inner circle of the cult, and she's written a new story for us called Death Course. It's a zombie story, a little campy. I love it. It's right up our alley. So she's done a little bit of acting, and she's done some writing herself, and now she's joined the cult. And we're pleased to have her aboard. And it's nice to have somebody local here to join the crew as well, right?
No, it's always good.
Now, did you find out what beatnik means?
Yes.
What's a beatnik?
Beatniks were members of a social movement in the mid-20th century who subscribed to an anti-materialistic lifestyle.
Mm.
They rejected the conformity and consumerism of mainstream American culture.
Okay.
And expressed themselves through various forms of art, such as literature, poetry, music, and painting.
Ah, I get it. Okay, well, you did your research.
I would say he would land in beatnik territory. They also experimented with spirituality, drugs, sexuality, and travel.
Okay, well, count me up for the end part there. I'm down with that. That sounds great, but I don't know about all the other stuff. Not the travel. Oh, was there travel? I heard. I blanked.
The travel was in there, but the spirituality, drugs, and sexuality. All right, you're in. So there it is, and it was
okay. Well, so yeah, and then I moved on. John is a busy dude. He's doing stuff. So I forgot another book too. We have the kids book, dude. Look at the kids book.
Look at that thing.
These are all. Cool. This is all done by kids, man. Kingston kids. Lonnie and I. See, there's Nexus again. Nexus helps us out a lot.
Was there a fire there or something at Nexus?
Yeah, somebody threw a smoke bomb through the front door. They got caught though.
Good.
So this is by the kids of Kingston. And if you go to our website, you can help support them. I have digital copies of this too. If you just want to like help us out, $5 and up for a digital copy, and you'll be helping the kids out. We did Kingston's version of the Shark Tank this week. Lonnie and I went down.
Right.
I was the guy that did all the talking, and I talked way too much. Can you imagine that, Brent?
Did you get in trouble?
No, I was just flat out told that we didn't get it because I talked too much. I talked way too much, and yeah.
That's what he said. They said to you, is that you talk too much?
In a polite way. My wife didn't make it as polite as that, but I could feel it, dude. You know how I could feel it. I was out of control, man. We're first as well, so I didn't know what to do. If I would have seen like one of them go before us, at least just one of them, then I would have kind of got what this was all about. I went up there and was all like,
was it like the Royal Rumble where you picked a number and then they assigned you your spot?
No, some dude just came up and said, "Hey, so you guys are Machete Comics, right on. So you're going to go up first." And it was funny because I just said to Lonnie, they're going to pick us to go up first. So we went up first. Something to do with monitoring brain waves and teaching it to kids. And they give you $1,000 cash right there in a bag, like in a little bag.
In a bag, 1,000 bones, right?
Right there, man, right there. So they did ask us to, but they did ask us to come back. So we're going to try again, but Lonnie's going to do the talking. And the next one, we also have another one. So we met some people, right, who are pretty rad. We met another gentleman, and he was from the Rotary. So he invited us to come down. So we're going to go down there and try and make up some funds to go to the Ottawa Comic Con, which is, it did cost us about $1,000 to do the Ottawa Comic Con with accommodations for the weekend. And that's in September. So I think we're going to go to the Rotary Club with our Ottawa, and we're going to go back to the Shark Tank with our kids program. So we're moving and shaking over here at Machete Comics, right? And I announced that we have a new writer there who's local. And issue 4, I don't have any graphics for it, but I've been pimping it all over my Instagram and Facebook. Instagram's where you're going to find most of our stuff. But yeah, issue 4 is on the way. It's like so close. We're just finishing touches here, man. It's like so close. It's ready to go. And we're very excited about all that. Because as I mentioned, we get part 3 of John's story there. Yeah, we got part 3 of John's story in that one as well. Oh, and Billy Goes to Hell comes back. He was out for an issue and he comes back, which is, everybody loves Billy. He's so rude. Awesome. So that's what's going on with Machete Comics, man. We're moving and shaking, aren't we, Brent?
It is moving, man.
Yes.
And there's so many things. It's great. I think it's what an inspiring story to my friends to have my friend and his wife, who's also my friend,
Bonnie,
make these wonderful things from their house, and then also have the time to teach the kids, and which is, and if you follow Chris Machete online, you'll see, when the kids are over and the smile on their faces and what they're doing. Come on,
it's good times, rad dudes, rad tales, good stuff. So yeah, we have the comics available. Another one coming out. We're monthly. We got one coming out every month. This was out last month. This month, this just came out at the beginning of the month. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
There you go. Proceeds go to the printing of issue 3, actually, but that's it. Yeah. There's Cult of Machete Digital number 2. Awesome. Look at that. You scan those, you can get the books.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll
excellent.
Bring them up at the end. But yeah.
Right on. Okay, but let's get to. So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to go back to doing like a variety type show here. We're going to talk about some Sopranos, and we're going to talk about some wrestling.
Copy. So it is March I think we should, while it's fresh, let's go maybe some wrestling for a minute.
Okay, let's do it then. What's the date today? Today is March
26th. We got Wrestlemania coming up,
right?
Which I haven't missed since WrestleMania 3. I've seen every single one.
What's the date on WrestleMania?
It's like the middle of April. I'd have to double check. It's coming to us from Las Vegas,
right?
As well.
Nice. There's no other events before this, though, right? Other than Raw and SmackDown, correct?
Yeah. No. What are we now? I don't think there's a pay-per-view. So I think we're
no major change.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's not too much going on. The big hype, of course, is Bad Cena.
They've been kind of going towards this thing, they've been, this was a big moment.
Look at his head.
Interesting conversation surrounding this heel turn, which I'll ask you about. But it's interesting because the feeling out of that is like, obviously we know it's the quest to 17 championships for John Cena, so around his like retirement tour and was he ever going to turn heel? And this was the time to turn heel. And you know, people are like, oh, is it the greatest heel turn of all time? I am like, the question for me on this thing is, or where I go is like, I don't believe it is. I think there's others that are way way better. People are talking about impact as far as like when Hogan turned and Cena turning. I understand that part of it, but does it rank as in the top 2 or top 3 heel turns of all time? So there's a few things to discuss here. So anyways, your thoughts right now going into May.
You know, I think it was a good idea. But you know, of course, The Rock had to be involved. The Rock didn't have to be involved in this at all, in my opinion. But of course, he shoved himself in there. You know, I'm not a big Rock fan, but yeah, I can see this. Like, I don't know what else you would do at this point with Cody Rhodes, right? Like, he's basically, to me, he's kind of run his course. I think they need a new champion. Is Bad Cena going to be the answer to that? I don't know. Or will he do? Because Cody Rhodes keeps going on about, I want to fight the old John Cena. I want to fight the good John Cena. Is he going to do another heel? Is he going to do another turn the night of WrestleMania or something? You know, like, who knows? Like, because the bad ideas seem to be in an abundance here. I'm just, like, right now it doesn't seem like they're making a lot of storylines and decisions where I'm like, whoa, what a great thought. That's really cool. Way to go with that.
Well, we got to be patient. Like, we're always told to be patient. And you know, I think there is a payoff coming. I have a couple of feelings about it.
Right.
I think, you know, if we're I like it when we, you know, obviously when we talk about this thing and we kind of write it and predict it and do our own writing from the thing. But I think that there's a few things that we have to keep in mind, which is the fact that Punk still has that favor coming to him.
Yeah, I like CM Punk. Yeah.
So that's a thing which I think is about to, you know, rear its head. There's some really cool stuff out there. There's like Cena beats Cody, and then Cody beats Cena at Madison Square Garden to win it back. And that's sort of like Cena's last time at Madison Square Garden. It's also where Dusty Rhodes was never got a chance to. That's where he tried to win it and couldn't win it.
Right.
Bully Ray touched on this. Bully Ray was like, that's where Cena, or that's where Cody needs to actually win a title. But winning it back there and retiring Cena, that seems like a cool moment. Yeah. But then the other thing that where I'm going with it is I think that Punk is going to be the outlier here, and I think Punk's going to find a way to slide into this thing, and he's going to end up being actually the corporate champion.
Oh wow! So what the guy he's scheduled in a 3-way with him, Drew McIntyre, and Seth?
It's him, Rollins, and
right.
And Roman. And
look at that, though. Doesn't that look like possibly a revival of the Shield? Look at that. Because I was going to talk about that event. Are we going on to that now?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like.
Or do you want any more about the main event?
So go ahead on what you think.
Well, no, I see. The main event is what it is, right? You got what else can you do with Cody Rhodes? I don't know. He's the hero. He's been beaten down by like 5 guys at a time, and he rises back up. It's the classic hero versus villain story. What else can you do with a hero versus villain story? That's not my job. Wait, sometimes it is. But see, my answer is just chopping a head off when I'm kind of like that. But my job isn't to write wrestling storylines. I would love to, but that's not my job. Get in there, Hunter. But like, what else to do with Cody Rhodes? I'd have to think about that. I've never really put that to thought.
They can't. I mean, ultimately they have to. Cody's got to turn eventually too, and you can't have Cody turn until he becomes as big of a babyface as Cena was.
Yeah, and he doesn't want.
It's got to be impactful. Right. He doesn't want it now. Neither did Cena. Cena didn't want it either. And also AEW turned on Cody, and he turned into a bad guy pretty quick.
Right.
When they all turned on him. So
the only thing I can think of you could do with Cody would have him build a bit of a team. Like if his brother came back to the to WWE, didn't go as Gold Dust, but if he came back and then there was another classic guy in that era of the WCW or
Arn Anderson's name.
Well, somebody who can, but somebody could wrestle, like somebody a little younger maybe, but that would be pretty cool. Like I don't know what else. I was just thinking now, like what else are you going to do with him? Okay, no, this is Pete Dunne's hilarious. This guy, does he not see himself coming down to the ring? You know what he looks like to me? He looks like a caveman ballerina. Like if a caveman did ballet, this is what they would look like. What? Have you ever seen anything worse than that? I think he's got the worst look in the WWE right now.
It's a pretty bad look.
Is there a meaning behind that? Like, does he have some kind of there? Yeah, leave it up there for a second.
He's British. There's like a thing there.
Yeah, is there a kind of a British thing?
Yeah, maybe it's a British thing.
Did the British get it?
I don't know.
Because he's got like a lady's bathing suit on there that he's wrestling in, right? And then he puts like a barbarian kind of leather coat over top.
I'm telling you, WWE has a real problem in the mid card right now.
How about the tag teams? Yeah. So wait, we were going to go into though.
But we were talking Punk and Rollins, and we were talking.
My prediction for that was going to be that they're going to resume as the Shield, and Paul Heyman's going to be the one behind it. He's going to get them together. They're going to be the Shield, and then they're going to go after everybody. Basically, they're going to put the WWE on notice. Everybody's on notice. We're here, man, and they're going to start coming through the crowd eventually and shit like it. But I could see them doing that. Because I don't know, like Punk. There's not really a story build up yet for Punk and the champion. You know what I mean? And I know he wants to be the champion.
Punk joining forces with The Rock, which is
no, that'd be horrible. I don't think Punk would go for that because they're like I don't know. Like name a movie The Rock's been in that you really enjoyed. Quick. Like I don't get it. So that's what I mean. Like he can't wrestle anymore. His big thing is he walks away from the ring and he stops. And then he walks a few more steps and he stops. It's so lame. Like, I don't know. I'm an old guy though, but I just don't see his worth in there anymore. He's like Hulk Hogan. I don't get it. Like, and The Rock's never really done anything movie wise or writing wise or
which is crazy because they just cast him in a Scorsese movie.
Yeah, but he's not the leader. I mean, he's like a second player, right?
Just saying. It's like
no, but you could do well. Look at some of the people that have acted in Scorsese's movies and all these other ones. Look at there's lots of things where it's a side character. It's like, oh wow, that was perfect. Like this could be his perfect role, and he maybe only has like 5 lines in the whole movie. Maybe he nails it, right? Who knows? But I'm just saying, like name a movie he was in that you really enjoyed. Like I can't do it.
Yeah, I haven't really. There hasn't been anything that he's done.
Again, name a wrestling match that you enjoyed from his past.
Well, there's lots.
There's lots, right? That's what I'm saying, right? Like he comes in like you were a good wrestler at the time. You were like one of the best, man. You definitely were, but you're not a wrestler anymore, man. Just stop. You go back to Hollywood because you're really, really phony, and they love that there. So that's my opinion on The Rock. I don't like The Rock.
He's going to run for president. He's going to run for president.
Well, this leads into my next problem. Is the bloodline and the 2 brothers there excuse me, the 2 brothers there who have been brought in just lately. The one guy's mouth's open all the time. I don't even know their names because basically I'm to the point now that when the bloodline's fighting, I fast forward it.
Well, they're bringing I think they're pushing Jacob Fatu to be the guy,
and that's ridiculous because they're not ready. You know what I mean? They're not ready. They botch stuff, and their acting and mic skills are horrible. They're just, you wince when you watch it. And I don't get it. See, I think they just, they're young. I think that they could, if they kept them down somewhere for a little while instead of just all of a sudden putting them into the highlight, to the main card. That's ridiculous.
Remember last year at WrestleMania, we talked about how there was, out of it. And then how do they write? Because it's always tough coming out of Mania because then you got to rewrite, you got to get people interested in the year. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where those guys came in and they were like, let's see what these guys can do. And you're right. I mean,
but what do you do with them now? Like, what do you do? So I guess they're going to kind of feud with Sikoa there. What's his name? I
think Solo. I think it's going to be like Fatu and Solo for like some kind of thing. I mean, but I'm not
right. But again, what are you going to do with them now? Like, you brought them in. They can take like 5 finishing moves. Way to go. They brought him in up here. Like, now what are you going to do with them? There's nothing you can do with them. And really, mid-card Jey Uso, oh my gosh, he's gonna beat Gunther because lately they've been putting Gunther against all these idiot losers, and Jay's beating all these top guys. It's so sad. Like the writing leading to it is so sad. And did you see Jay's botch on the last match there? That was pretty funny. They're gonna make mistakes. I know the wrestlers hate it when you call it a botch, but hey, if I made a mistake playing a song back in the day, or if I draw something incorrectly, people are going to say I did something incorrectly. So thick skin, fellas. A botch is a botch. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought that was funny. He did the botch there. But again, I'm going to let you go in a second here, but I just got to finish off on this whole bloodline. Like now we got Jey Uso. Like just he's mid card Jey Uso to me. He's not main event Jey Uso, and his brother is even poor guy. What are you gonna do with me? You know what I mean? Like nothing, man, nothing. Okay, so that the bloodline to me is a huge problem in the storytelling, and of course the favoritism probably won backstage.
Yeah, it's a problem, and it's filtering all the way down because now McIntyre's without a match now,
and he's awesome.
Sami Zayn's kind of without a match. You've got, they got to find a way to get there on that. Orton and Owens looks like, but we've seen that still a few times. You've got the women's, which is not doing anything.
They're trying to, but Charlotte Flair just has no personality. It's so funny.
There's just nothing. So this is a weird one. I mean, this is a weird one. This is why, like, when you build up to, Cody and like John, it just shows you how big of a star John Cena was. The fact that he can, that he's carrying the whole thing, because it's really the only thing I'm kind of interested in. I was never really a Cena fan, so
no, I wasn't either.
I'm like, but let's see what they do with it now, because I have to like him on bad guy Cena. Love it. He just needed.
I do too.
He just
he didn't need The Rock. Like he doesn't, and he didn't need The Rock for this.
Well, I think yes and no. I think I will say that, like, the look in that when he did that look and everyone was kind of like,
well, that was cool.
But he's looking at The Rock as sort of like The Rock is like, the king.
But
right?
now, but so first he said he did it because of The Rock. Now, what is he saying? He did it because of all the I'm saying, like, he didn't need to. He could have just stared at the fans like that. He didn't need to stare at The Rock like that, because he didn't come back with saying, yeah, The Rock talked me into this. We had dinner. He took me out. We want a plane ride. He's like, no, he come back on, you suck, you suck, you suck. Hey, little kid, you're the worst. And it was great. As I'm saying, like, it was really good. I enjoyed that.
Punch a kid. He just didn't. Jericho the other night got into it with a little kid, which was pretty great on AEW. Yeah. Some little kid gave him the finger, and I'm like, I don't know if that was a counter to the WWE, but they planted some kid in there. He was giving him the finger. What are you, 55? And it's great. So I'm like, so I'm not like, the thing is I'll never miss Mania, so I have to watch it. But I'm kind of like, I'm not. There's nothing really. You're sitting there going like, Damian Priest. No one's interested in that now. Finn Balor, that's over.
Yeah.
I mean, they had an opportunity to make Dom the big thing, and that's stalled. I mean, kind of. So the mid card is completely stalled right now. So
the tag team, the men's tag team is what, the Barstool Profits or whatever they're called.
No,
that's the band I'm thinking of, the Barstool Profits.
Barstool Profits. We used to play with them.
Canadian band, right?
From Kingston.
Street Profits.
Street Profits.
Street Profits.
And, you got those guys, which is great. The Hardys are kind of kicking around in NXT again.
Well, they need something like that, because I'll tell you. So so then before that, it was what, DIY that were your tag team champions,
and that was the storyline in NXT, that they'd already turned on each other 7 times down there.
Yeah.
So
before that, it was the Detroit Machine Gunners or something. These guys who just came in,
the Motor City Machine Guns. Here's the thing: I think that the WWE was so hot. It was so hot. It is still so hot, especially coming up the Netflix thing and like that. It just feels like outside of the main event, it feels like it's bland.
Do you get the vibe maybe there's too many writers?
Well,
it's just kind of chaos. Like
not writers, but there's definitely probably, now that they've merged with UFC, they've just sold Endeavor off in TKO. So there's just probably like a bunch of guys that like got part of that deal that were like, well, I want my input, and now we're turning it, Triple H is going to hold it together as best he can. But I don't know, the fact that like they're dangling Austin as like another member of this whole thing, and
that's what it's getting like superheroes, dude. They can't. They're bringing back. It's got to be Spider-Man. It's got to be Batman. It's got to be, that's wild. It seems really disjointed when I watch the storylines. There's not that one story where everything's kind of swirling around it, and then you got the tag team
story. There's no mid-card. There's no mid-card story.
No, well, you got Penta in there. That's pretty cool. I liked the idea of what's his name there becoming
Braun Breaker.
No, not Braun Breaker. No, he was a luchador. He was becoming a luchador.
Did you
American made,
call
right?
himself Americano? He called it El Grande
Yeah.
Americano.
Right. And what's his name though? I'm just blank.
Chad Gable, right?
Chad Gable. Yeah. So Chad Gable it wants to be a luchador, and they show him going off to learn the trade and stuff like that, and coming back. And see, that's funny. I like that. It's campy. It's for kids, but I really like. I thought that was cool.
But
So
his
that's a good one
name
there.
is a drink from Starbucks.
Is it?
El Grande Americano.
Oh, Grande Americano. That's awesome. See, that's so funny. I love it. I think that's great. So that's a good storyline. And El Penta. Oh, I was so glad when Penta came in, man. He's my, he does the Mexican Destroyer.
Oh yeah,
Not the Canadian Destroyer, but the Mexican Destroyer, which is Canadian Destroyers might be something I'm working on. But yeah, I love his moves too. And he, like that guy's a pro, man. You watch him wrestle, and there's no mistakes in there. He's really good.
So I'm sure it's going to take shape here over the next little bit. And I get home from this thing in a week, and then I'm home for a little bit. I think, unfortunately, that weekend I have to fly out again for just a couple of days. But I think that what we'll probably try to do is our, a preview of Mania. As when they finalize the card that week, and we'll do something. We'll kind of circle back around and get our final thoughts on it. But as it stands right now, they got some work to do. They got some work to do.
Overall, they do. Yeah.
They got some work to do. But I am interested in this. I think this is going to be interesting. And it's interesting that you've come back around on Seth Rollins, because you were so out on him for so long.
I loved it when Punk said, "You look like a friggin' oven mitt."
He called him Grimace the other day.
I know. It's great. Just burning him. I love it. See, they kind of get this, but the three of them kind of got this little repertoire thing going on, man. I could totally see there's a story that you could really, all of a sudden you got these three guys that are going around and just beating the crap out of everybody. You know what I mean? They don't care. And they just want to get titles. They just want titles. So they're just going out there and fighting, trying to get titles, right? So all three of them get a title.
Roman's loving the fact that he's not, I definitely think that's going to be main event of one of the nights, but I think the fact that Roman doesn't have to carry the whole story this year.
He's not wearing the C anymore. He's not the captain. It's like John Tavares of the Leafs, right? Oh, fuck. Yeah. Thank you. Now Matthews has got the anchor.
Help me in my pool this year. That C, he got me like 25 points last night.
There you go. He gave it to Matthews. Matthews is wearing it like an anchor, though, right?
Well, that comes with that uniform. I mean, what pressure? You know what I mean? What pressure? There's not. I don't think there's a sports team. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys or something, but I don't know if there's a sports team alive. Yankees. Leafs, and then outside of some soccer teams or something, where if you're the captain, there's no greater pressure.
True.
And Gilmore.
Speaking of pressure, how about being in the Mafia?
Well,
looking over your shoulder all the time.
You've had yourself quite a little run here with the. You went back. You kind of did a little. Kind of what do I say? Gangster sort of run through again. Like you've kind of been loving it and going back through on some stuff, and then you're rewatching Sopranos, which I like to do every 2 to 3 years. I like to rewatch the whole thing. And so, there's lots to talk about around this show and gangster stuff altogether. But is The Sopranos the greatest TV show ever? That's how I think a good, fair question to start with.
Well, I don't think it's the greatest TV show ever, in my opinion. Okay. It's not my it's not my favorite TV show ever. That's a tough one. I wasn't expecting to be asked that. That's a good one. WKRP. I love that show.
Okay, let's. Sorry, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Yes, there's WKRP, and we can go into sitcoms. We can get all the rest of it. As far as a dramatic show,
the new Daredevil is so friggin' good, man. Wow.
Of all time,
I don't know. Yeah,
because people watch Breaking Bad, they're like, "Oh, it's the greatest of all time," but then you watch it and you're like, it still doesn't hit like The Sopranos did.
Okay, so The Walking Dead, when I was first started watching that, the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead, man, I don't know if anything can touch that for me personally. See, I don't it's funny because nowadays I won't watch a lot of that stuff because I don't want to make the commitment of the TV show. You know what I mean? Yeah. But Walking Dead would definitely come. The first 2 seasons of Walking Dead would definitely come first for me. I could see The Sopranos coming in pretty close, but I'd have to really bring up some things that I've watched. Because there's a couple I really liked it. I liked Obi-Wan as well, but I'd have to rewatch it to see if I actually still liked it as much. But anyway, so it's your favorite TV show of all time, though, correct?
It really is for me. It
That's
really
cool.
is, and I think it's the best first season ever of a TV show because it starts as a slow burn. You don't know what you're watching, and then all of a sudden, it's like anything. And then when anything kicks in, but this when you especially when you get to how you get to the end of The Sopranos, but like the arc of everybody that's comes.
So we might as well start with the ending and work our way to whatever, because whenever you talk about The Sopranos, everybody's like, "Whoa, how about that? How about the series finale?" So
spoiler alert, people.
Oh yeah, sorry for all you nerds who are coming in here like, "Hey, spoilers, man! Shut up."
If you haven't watched it by now, sorry, but figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's an extremely controversial ending.
Right. So a lot of things have been pointed. So I'll go first here. So a lot of things have been pointed out to me, and that I've seen. The big one is that Tony Soprano always said his daughter was his guardian angel, right? Like Meta was his guardian angel, and she was her being late and her trying to park the car and her coming in with the ding and it's over and she's too late. That to me, right there, Tony got shot. That's what I'm thinking. That you could throw a whole bunch of other things in there, but when I saw that theory, and I kind of had that a little bit too, thinking about that, but when somebody really pointed it out, and that's what I'm thinking. He got shot, and what gives it away is that Meta, his guardian angel, was not there to protect him.
This was the last scene you see. Is like you see him look up, and then it goes to black, right? Which everyone thought
it was the ding of the bell of her entering, correct? Ding ding. Yeah.
And
there's the number 3 involved as well. Like the shooter came from 3 o'clock, and there's a lot of things like that. But that guardian angel thing was the one that hooked me in as a writer. Is like, wow, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's an interesting take on it. I have to go back to an old pal of ours, Al Nolan, had a great line one time where he thinks that we got whacked.
Oh yeah, I've read that too. That we got whacked. Yeah,
We've seen too much. We're not allowed to see anymore. And then listening to David Chase, the writer and director, was like, for years, you've been cheering on this psychotic, like narcissist.
It's not getting better.
And then you want me to kill him? Like, that's giving the fans what they want. So this was like, we got whacked. We're not allowed to watch anymore.
I bet you don't even hear it coming.
And that was from the boat scene with him and Bobby.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I bet you don't even hear it coming. So yeah, it goes to black, and there's so many discussions around it.
Yeah, that's a good one, that we got whacked. I get that. That's but then you're Deadpooling it again, then, right? You know what I mean? Like as in
fourth wall into it.
Then you got to go back and watch and see if you are actually an observer, or if that plays out the way it could. Yeah,
it's so interesting. I think, given the tension of that final season and how it all played out, and the members only jacket guy that was sitting, there's an incredible podcast called Talking Sopranos, which is hosted by the guys who played Chris Moltisanti and Bobby Backlari, and they run every episode. It's one of the best listens ever, almost as good as this show.
Of course.
But it's scene by scene. They break out like, oh, we cast this person, but it wasn't supposed to be this person. It's such a deep dive breakdown. And they're both of the sign. They're both of the scene that he was whacked. So they definitely follow your thing about him getting him being killed. So yeah, I mean,
I thought he got killed. That's just my observation. So that's our opinions on. So is that what you think then, that we got whacked? Is that your opinion on that?
Oh, I mean, I love it. But I think that all the evidence, plus when you do a deep dive into the room and the painting on the back, they had all the oranges. He was almost killed in the season 1 by Junior.
And who else was shot at the orange stand? Godfather.
That's right. So they're tying in like he was carrying oranges to his car, and then there's oranges in the back. So it's sort of like pointing to all these little things. There's theories for days on it. I do think he was taken out. I think if he didn't die of a heart attack in real life and was still around, and the way that all these things are thrown around money right now, you might have seen a different theory come out of it. Right? You might have like they were talking about when they originally wrote the ending for Breaking Bad. I don't know if you've seen or not.
No, I haven't seen the whole Breaking Bad deal.
Spoiler alert! It's not that much of a spoiler, but he ends up waking up from a bad dream, like
Right.
Newhart, and he's
Yes.
actually in bed with his wife from A Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh shit! No, really?
Yeah, so they'd actually shot that. They actually
but they didn't
shot,
show that.
but they actually shot that scene and they watched the finale 100 times to get a reaction to see if it would play with him waking up and the whole thing was a dream.
Yeah.
He turns around to his wife and it's the wife. You think it's his wife from Breaking Bad, but it's actually the wife from Malcolm in the Middle.
Right.
And he's like, "Honey, I had a real bad dream." And so they played around with that. So they were talking about how, like, if James Gandolfini was still alive, they might have played around with it a little bit.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
His
son's in the new Daredevil, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He was in the he was
the Gangs of New Jersey.
Yeah, it was like all about
the Saints of New Jersey.
Saints of Newark.
Oh, Newark. Okay, right. Yes, Newark, the airport.
And he played a young Tony, which was great.
Yeah, I don't have access to those yet. I don't have HBO or whatever that's on.
It's okay. As a Sopranos super fan, if I would, I noticed every single tiny little Easter egg they would put in. It would be the Sopranos to me are kind of like Marvel for you. I love there's so many tiny little things that I love about it that I picked them all out in the Many Saints of Newark, but it didn't fully land for me, but it was cool. It was.
I think I've traded in my Marvel card for a Quentin Tarantino card.
Yes.
I think I like his movies a whole lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I watched. Sorry, a sidebar is I rewatched Outsiders again, Francis Ford Coppola, and I recommend everybody go back and watch Outsiders and stay gold while they're doing it. Back to Sopranos. So, who's your favorite character? If you like, you could pick one. And let's go for like not top people. Let's go for like, not Tony, not.
I mean, who I think was written the bad. I mean,
I like Furio.
You like Furio?
I thought Furio because and here's to go back to the Daredevil show again. But there's that scene where he goes into the Asian whorehouse and the camera just follows him right through like a Daredevil scene. Man, he's so badass. Yeah, and he doesn't. He's like the opposite of me. He doesn't say much. I love that. I wish I could.
His arc was really cool. It was really good. Ralphie was so great.
Wow, you just love to hate Ralphie, right? You just wait for him to get it.
He played it so well,
yeah.
And they mixed this thing of like, and the thing is, one thing about The Sopranos in every gangster movie you ever watch, the only person is happy is the top guy.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And he's not even happy. He's going to a therapist. But it's like Ralphie shows these little signs of like, he's with Gab and he's trying to help her through everything, but he also like was part of having her son killed. And he's like kills the horse and he does like he's just a terrible, awful human. But intertwined in there, he just wants to be loved. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that story arc on him was quite amazing. And who subtly came along was Bobby. I thought they did a great job with Bobby.
Yeah. The train guy, right? Like the little trains?
Yeah, to the point where he might have ended up like when they're talking at the end going about, they said there's a great line when they're sitting around and they're like, take out the top guys and then make a deal with who's left. And they were going to keep Paulie Walnuts, but they're going to take out Silvio. They're going to take out Silvio. They were going to take out Tony and they were going to take out Bobby. And the one guy was like, isn't he Tony's driver? And he's like, we think he's number 2 and you used to drive me around. Like, you know what I mean? Like It was like, they really play Bobby up as like, this could have been Bobby's thing. Because if you think about what would have happened post Sopranos after Tony died, who would have taken over the family?
Right. And he punched Tony out too in a fight too, right? Like he bettered him physically. It would have been
Bobby. He got really smart. He was hanging around Junior.
Except for he married Janice. That wasn't too smart, but
Well, no, but I mean, it was kind of smart because he got in with the boss.
Right? Maybe he needed somebody like that too, right? Yeah. Somebody to kind of like.
So I really like Bobby's character a lot. And
I did too.
That's the one that people felt the worst.
His kid was hilarious as well. His kid was really cool too. Yeah, I really liked him a lot. Phil Leotardo was another one that I love to hate. Man, that guy. As soon as he's been in like all kinds of mob flicks, right?
And it's great because he kills a couple of guys, and I think it was like payback for him getting whacked in Goodfellas,
right?
In the back You know what I mean? Like, so he got to
Yes,
kill.
that's that. What a great scene that is too in Goodfellas.
You know.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
I love The Sopranos so much. But I also feel like after I watch it, I'm just like, oh, I gotta go take a shower. Like it's just like every single time. There's not one redeeming quality about anything. The only redeeming quality of anybody in there is Meadow. Meadow's the only one that's really pure because
Well, she's the guardian angel, right?
Even Anthony's got the thing, and he wants to be a gangster. He ends up coming around a little bit, and so yeah. But what is it? Do you have a favorite moment of The Sopranos? Like, do you have one where you're like, man, I just love that scene?
Well,
so much?
I love. See, I like a little more. Not all. I love violence, but I love the duck scene with Tony, and I can relate to that because my ducks just came back. I actually got some video of it today.
Yeah,
see that? Man, the ducks love me. They come right up to the back deck there, and I come out, and they Sheldon and Amy, and they walk me to their spot, and so I really like that, and I get it. It's like, man, the ducks, they come here. I don't know what it is. It's so therapeutic. I really like that, and there's such like what's her name? Her death was just horrible.
Adriana,
man. Yeah, I'm forgetting all the names. But Adriana's death was just, and it was written so well. Some of the writing in there is really, the dialogue stuff I really enjoy as well. Of course, the scene with was it the Soviet or the Czechoslovakian guy, the hitman guy out in the woods? What's the Barons?
Yeah, that's the Pine Barons.
The Pine Barons. Like that scene's brilliant too. There's so much funny stuff in that too. Dialogue's key with me. Steve Buscemi wrote that. Sorry, Steve Buscemi wrote that one.
And so many questions about like where did that guy end up? And they just left.
That's a good one.
And that's a great one. Yeah, I think that there's a scene there where they retell the story, like when they go into season 6, like, and they tell the story again about Christopher finding out from Adriana.
Yeah, what a great character he was.
And just the sheer like fear with him. Was something that was like, man, that was a comic book kind of wrote, that made me feel like I'm watching this crazy backstory, which is they gave that to us, which was like, holy shit, this is how it happened. And Chris had to make the decision to get her to kill her, and it was like, so that for me was like really summed up a great deal of things. Tony taking out Christopher in the end.
Yeah, he's looking at he's realizing that his drug addiction's back, and there's no way he's ever going to beat it. And he looks back at the baby seat, that was crumpled under in a car accident that Tony and him were both in, and realizes that this is going to end badly either way. So
he just takes him out. Anything with Junior, like,
Junior was hilarious. He's so funny. I really like Junior as well. And then the mom was just annoying, which was perfect. Perfect.
And so it's tough to pick just one, but I mean it's more of a season. But there was some scenes there that were pretty intense. And
I was as a viewer, I was expecting it to lead to Tony becoming a better person, and it didn't at all. He actually would, if like say Janice, when she was getting better mentally, he would antagonize her until she blew it, and then gotcha.
Well, that scene from the scene from the cottage is like you're right there at that moment where they're like, this is a really great moment, and then Tony just
sabotages it, right? Yeah.
Because he loves her misery, and loves her living in that misery.
Yeah. He's an asshole.
He doesn't want to be happy. He doesn't want anyone to be happy. Gene comes to him and says, "My mom, I just inherited $2 million from my aunt, and I want to get out of here, and I want to move to Florida, and I got a piece for you." And he's like, "Gene, you can't get out of this thing." And they go, "Tony, we go back 100 years, blah blah blah." And it was like, and then Silvio says, "No, you can't." And then Gene kills himself because he's like, "You can't get out of it." It's like there's nothing. You're like pulling for Gene. You're like, "Yeah, Gene just won $2 million. He's out." Kills himself. Can't. And I'm like, it's just so. And who can forget what's his name with the guy? He gets into it. Oh yeah, the whole scene when with Richie and forget what's his name, the Terminator dude that.
Oh right, so you got the Terminator dude who's got a sports shop, and he keeps gambling until Tony basically owns it. But he really owes his money to Richie, who's under him, and he shows up at a poker game that he shouldn't, that Richie's running.
It's great. And there's nothing redeeming. You think, oh, Tony, this is Tony's old buddy. Nope, takes it all.
And he says to him, he says, you know, part of me, I'm just like a shark, man. I just knew you had this business, and I knew I could get it. That's what he says to him. And Terminator dude's like, fuck, man. You know, like he did the same thing to his buddy with the restaurant. Oh no, with the restaurant. That was was the restaurant, or was that? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Sometimes I get this show mixed up with Goodfellas. You know, legitimately, the characters and stuff.
Well, there's some stuff, but yeah, he takes up Vesuvio's, well, you know, and it's just a whole thing. So, man, oh man, and then his mom, the way his mom was written, it's just so many things about that show that the characters are so deep. It's just crazy. So
yeah, it's really well written. It's again, you get those characters who are really well written, and they just they write themselves. And you just put them in situations and see what they would do.
Yeah, I'd love to see, like, it would have been great. They were minorly talking about doing like another series with his kid, you know, and maybe
he's a pretty good actor. As I say, he's in Daredevil, and he's looking like he's going to be. He may turn out to be, in my opinion, just spoilers here. I think, well, this is just my perception of what he might turn out to be. Is Kingpin's son, character called the Rose.
Interesting.
From Spider-Man books and Daredevil books. So he's the Rose, but he's in there, man, and he's this young dude. He's the Kingpin's young guy who's doing all his digital work for him. But yeah, he's a good actor. He's a good actor, and you can see his dad in him a lot too, in certain poses and turns.
Oh, especially if you watch Many Saints of Newark and you see how he carries himself.
Yeah.
Especially when he sort of turns into Tony officially, it's quite something to see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. I couldn't. I can't see. I don't have access to it, so I don't want to go on YouTube and see like a breakdown of it or anything like that.
Yeah. It's really good. But
it got me onto watching all kinds of mob movies as well. Of course, I think Goodfellas has to be, to me, the best mob movie and just one of the best movies of all time. You know what I mean? But to me, Goodfellas, I like that better than any of the Godfathers. The Godfathers are great, though. I love 1 and 2. But I'd say that
Brando. I've been doing a Brando deep dive a little bit just because I'm like, where he ended up at the end versus where he was. And,
well, he's got some stuff going on there, and that's a whole other thing, huh?
For me, Godfather 2 is still it's the best story. Goodfellas is a really great, like, keep you in it. Not everybody can stick around for the Godfather.
I thought you were going to pick Casino for sure.
No, I mean, I like Casino. Sharon Stone. I mean, the fact she didn't win an Oscar for that show,
right? God, I want to choke her.
Boggles my mind.
Yeah, wow, she can play an annoying lady really, really.
Oh
well.
yeah, but she was incredible. Like, it was just like we've all been there. It's just like insane. But yeah, the fact that she didn't win is something else. And oh my God, that's a whole other thing. Like, greatest mob movie of all time is like, but for me, it still lands at Godfather 2.
That's a great movie.
I know that's cliche to say, but I do think that Goodfellas lands in there. And
Goodfellas, yeah, it's just such a good movie. I can put that on anytime. But so I get in modes where, because I'm drawing, I'll put movies on. And lately I'll watch Reservoir Dogs, like, and then the next day I'll watch it again. Fight Club, I'm watching that a lot as well. And JFK in segments. The JFK movie.
Did you watch The Irishman yet?
Yes, I've watched that a few times as well. I love
it. And every time I dive into it, it goes a little bit. And that's one of Pesci's best performances I've ever seen.
Great movie. Really, really like that movie.
Oh, there's so many layers there.
Oh man, how about even what's his name there? Just blanking on names. And he plays Hoffman. He played Hoffman. Or Jimmy Hoffa. He played Jimmy Hoffa in that movie.
Pacino.
Pacino. Jeez Louise, yeah. It's been a day. Okay, so Pacino's acting in that was amazing, playing Jimmy Hoffa. And the story of Jimmy Hoffa is great too, because nobody knows where he went. But yeah, he got whacked. But so you get the story from the Irishman's point of view. And I don't know. I've heard stories that he's just was cashing in, but who knows?
But it's awesome stuff too. It's like, yeah, I mean, of course the mob would take out JFK. Why not?
Oh, right? Mob would take out JFK for sure. But
yeah, so it's like it was like that was
the mob and the government, right? Because they released a whole bunch of stuff again, which is just a bunch of bullshit. But
there's not a lot in there.
If you look at the circumstances that were going on at the time, USA wanted to keep the war going, and the mob didn't.
On this one, we need John on this. We need John.
Yeah, this is John's favorite conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But to me, you get the government, you get the mob, it's pretty much there. So I'm watching that movie over and over again as well. There's those 3 movies I'm watching a lot. And as I mentioned to you, I'm hooked on airport meltdowns of people getting arrested in the airport for some reason. I'm just loving this. Do you see any of that? Because you're in the airport all the time.
Actually, I don't. I
Wow.
really don't. I don't see it. I haven't seen one person removed from a plane. I haven't seen one and
No
I'm
meltdowns in the
200 flights in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Just saying,
that's interesting.
I haven't seen it.
Wow.
I've seen people not react very well to like delays and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
not like these.
That's the thing. But I haven't actually seen anybody pulled from a plane.
If you're on YouTube and you're bored, just Google airport meltdowns, man. You'll laugh your head off. They're really good.
Yeah.
I like them. I find that very entertaining for some reason. What else am I watching? Yeah, that's that. And as we were talking about, there's a big Marvel announcement, but I'm just like, I tell you, man, like I said, I traded my Marvel card in, and then I asked Brandon, I was like, what was the last good Marvel movie you watched? And again, it was one of those, wow, I don't know. So the Daredevil series, though, to end off here, the Daredevil series, super good. Wow. Bullseye's back. I'm not going to give you any spoilers with that. The Kingpin is Wilson Fisk now. That the people who know Daredevil will know what that means. And it's just the first episode gets you, but the writing and the acting is just top notch. There's a lot of legal stuff going on, a lot of personality traits, some great conversations, a lot of things going on behind the scenes that if you pay attention, you're privy to. Great new villain named Muse. Really good stuff. Wow. So I got to advise you to watch Daredevil and buy the comic books, right? We got Kids with Rad Tales and this great one, as we were just talking about John again. And Eric Bishops has a story in here as well. And he writes a lot of novels. The one I remember is The Body Man. And there's Eric's story right there. It's creepy stuff. And issue 4 is going to be out. Man, we're going to printing probably next week, man. We're ready to go. Stoked. And I think that'll take care of it. I think that's what we got going on. Wrestling doesn't look too pleasing in the WWE world. Sopranos is one of the greatest shows ever. Don't be afraid to binge watch that. Daredevil's wicked.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll come back in a couple weeks and do a WrestleMania preview and have some fun with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And
that sounds good.
See where that lands.
Wicked.
And then we're rocking. So that's Chris over there. That's live from Machete Comics. He's at Machete Comics.
Yes.
And thanks for joining us, friends. Good to see y'all again.
Yeah, good times, rad dudes, my friends. That's good. We'll be back sooner than later. We have some. So I'll hit end recording, right?
Hit end recording.
All right, end recording.